Hey, this is Adam Knackers of expat2paradise.com. In this video, I am going to share with you 9 of the highest paying digital nomad expat skills that anyone can learn. Okay, so since 2013, I've been freelancing. My wife and I, over a 5-year stretch, we traveled. We were very nomadic, so we started in Costa Rica. We ended up from there going to Europe. From there, we went to Peru and spent time at Machu Picchu and in Lima. And then we actually, for a good stretch of it, were just touring around the United States. We love outdoor stuff like hiking and mountain biking. So we just kind of let those interests sort of dictate where we went. And we've basically spent some time in pretty much every corner and section of the United States. We've since settled in Boise, and now we're planning our big move to Mexico, actually, early next year. And so I actually will have a link to this document in the description for this video below. So I'm not just going to read this verbatim, but I do want to talk about the skills, okay? When it comes to making money online, it's very easy to chase like shiny objects, because there's a million of them, right? What I've found is the most helpful, rather than looking for the right shiny object, is to just focus on developing a specific set of skills. And when it comes to choosing the skills, you really want them to meet a few criteria. Number one, you want them to be in high demand. Okay, now the skill set that I've oriented around is really all falls under the umbrella of what I would call digital marketing. Really, digital marketing is just is all about just helping businesses or your own business to get more customers using online channels, which can mean a lot of things. Like there's paid advertising platforms, for example. There's social media. There's other organic strategies like YouTube and blogging and SEO. And then, of course, there's new social platforms and scenes like popping up every single day. I mean, if you think of some of the established platforms like Pinterest, Instagram, well, now you have TikTok. And there's a new one now that's sort of thought to be kind of a natural evolution from Facebook, one called Parler that's about to launch. And there's all of these social platforms. There's all of these online platforms through which businesses can leverage to build their audience and generate leads and customers and sales. And so what I do in general, and what I'm going to talk about in terms of these 9 skills, are really oriented all around helping business owners to increase their profile online and leverage these platforms to generate more business, more customers, more sales. Okay. So again, you want the skill to be in high demand. So I was mentioning digital marketing, well, number one, because it's what I do, but also it is a skill that is increasingly more and more in demand. I mean, there's so many businesses that for forever have really just latched onto a lot of the more traditional advertising methods, whether it's magazines or billboards or classified ads. And it's just become more and more apparent as time has gone on that those methods are outdated. And so there's just new businesses every day entering this realm looking for help with this stuff. So when I make suggestions to people, when they ask me like, Adam, how are you able to make an income from home, working from anywhere? What would you suggest? I always recommend moving in the direction of learning this. Like I said, the umbrella the way to describe it in general would be digital marketing. Okay. So those skills digital marketing skills are in high demand. The second thing is you want the skill to have a high perceived value. Okay. So like as an example, a lot of businesses need secretaries and admins, right? The challenge is that, the skill set of a secretary or admin is not perceived to have high value. And so even though it's in demand, not all skills that are in demand are good, because if they're not perceived to have a high value, then you can't demand as much of a of an income or, a salary or an hourly rate, right? So you want to choose not only skills that are in demand, but also skills that have high perceived value. And then the last thing is you want to choose skills that you can learn fairly quickly online. Okay. And so, as opposed to having to go to college for 4 years, I actually, went to college and graduated in 2000 with a degree in what's called management information system. It's basically like a business degree that combined computers, programming, and that sort of thing. And it's funny because I ended up in a job, and then I had several jobs after I graduated, all that eventually led me to the point of just needing to do something else. I just didn't feel like I had freedom. I didn't have the flexibility I wanted. And so I basically abandoned that career path, and I learned these skills on my own at a fraction of the cost of what you'd pay for, college tuition. I was able, just through online courses and finding mentors online, I was able to develop the skills and then go on to freelancing platforms to start generating income. So again, just to cover these again quickly, when you choose skills, you want them to be in high demand. So there'll be a lot of available jobs. It must have a high perceived value. So like I said, that's, think secretary versus doctor. Both are in high demand, but doctors have a high perceived value, and that's why they make a lot. They can charge a lot more, right? And then you need to be able to learn the skill quickly online. That's why, for anyone who wants to freelance, I don't recommend pursuing something like being a doctor, because you have to go through years of school and spend a lot of money in order to get that education, right? Whereas to learn these digital marketing skills, you can go to a website like Udemy, for example, and buy a course for $10 that can teach you an awful lot that you could start applying right away. So here's a list of the 9 skills that anyone can learn that meet these 3 criteria. They all fall under the umbrella of digital marketing. Number 1 is copywriting and content creation. And I've along with listing these, I'm also ranking them in 3 different categories. Ease of learning, sort of the level of techiness you need to have, because a lot of people, that come to me aren't necessarily technical. They don't have a technical background like I did. They're more creative. So I was trying to just figure out a way to, categorize these, and then where you can expect to be able to charge, what you can expect to be able to charge. So for copywriting, to be honest, from an ease of learning standpoint, copywriting is really, really hard to master, but it's fairly easy to get to a level of proficiency where you can start commanding pretty dang good hourly rates. Okay, so I rated it on an ease of learning standpoint as a 2. In terms of techiness, as long as you're somebody who can write, you really don't need to have technical skill. Most people that hire you for copywriting already have the technical team that can implement, the copy in whichever context they need it, like whether it's for emails, for their website, et cetera. Really, if you're a copywriter, generally, you're just hired to write the copy, okay? And then here's the beauty, though. Copywriting really is the most valuable skill, all right? Because when it comes to selling, like if a business needs new copy for their website, new copy for their sales funnel, new copy for their ads, new copy for their emails, it's because they want to convert more of the people they're attracting to their business into sales. So it's really the words that are on the page or in the email or in the ad that do that. And that's why copywriting is extraordinarily valuable and in demand. So you can charge, if you're an A-list copywriter, I put an hourly rate here range of $50 to $500, but really there's no ceiling, because at the end of the day, they're going to be paying you for your copy, like in some form. And if it helps them convert sales consistently, there's almost no way to overpay for it. There's a lot of copywriters that charge enormous sums of money just to write a single page or a single email sequence. So if you love writing, I'd urge you, I'll have some resources in the description that I'll link to that can help you start to develop this skill, even by just reading a book I recommend. It's called Copywriting Secrets. Again, the link will be in the description. Great resource for just beginning that journey of learning how to master copywriting. The second one is sales funnel creation and optimization. So a sales funnel, think of a sales funnel as a website, only it's a website that's optimized to generate a specific outcome. So what you'll notice is when you go to most websites, they're confusing. They have millions of links and they're They're generic. They're not really optimized for anyone specific. They're just kind of general. Sales funnels are more specific. When you create a sales funnel, there's usually a specific action you want the visitor to your site to take. So like as an example, I have clients who do Medicare education, and in order to drive business, they get paid every time someone enrolls in Medicare through them. But in order to attract people, they host these in-person Medicare workshops. And so when you go to their website, they actually have built a sales funnel that's all completely optimized around driving registrations for their in-person events. Okay, so when you go to their sales funnel for their event, it's not like you have a million options. On that page, it's saying, hey, if you'd like to learn how to ensure that you select the right Medicare plan, we're hosting a free workshop series this month. Click this button to register. So it's very oriented. And so sales funnel optimization is all about working with businesses to identify their unique value proposition and then helping them to create specific types of websites called sales funnels. The good news is to learn these skills, to build sales funnels, you don't need to be a programmer. There are amazing tools like ClickFunnels that are actually very template driven and allow you to build websites and sales funnels really quickly. Okay. Techiness, this does require a little bit more technical skill, but as I was just explaining to you, you do not need to be a highly technical person, because the tools that you use to build sales funnels are, like I said, very template driven. You just need to be willing to learn a new skill and to learn a new tool, but you aren't going to need to be super highly technical. So I rated it as a 3. Again, ease of learning, because you're learning these template driven tools, it's fairly easy. If you can commit some time and energy to it, you can learn them even if you're not a super technical person. And sales funnels are extraordinarily high perceived value, in-demand skill where you can command, hourly rates from $50 all the way up to $250 and even beyond that. Social media management is another one. Social media management is really all about, if you think of all the social platforms out there, like Instagram, like Facebook, like Pinterest, there's new ones coming up every day, Snapchat, right? It's really all about helping businesses manage their presences on these different platforms. Okay. So to master social media, what I usually recommend is, rather than trying to know every platform and be that jack of all trades, focus on one or two and really understand the nuances of the platform so you can help businesses get traction there, right? If you tell a business to be everywhere, it's like being nowhere. And similarly, if you're trying to develop these skills and you're trying to learn every single platform, you're going to end up not mastering any of them. So what I suggest is just pick one or two and really get to understand what it takes to build an audience and drive traffic and drive results for businesses on those platforms. Ease of learning, fairly simple. I mean, if you at least focus on one or two, you can get proficient in those platforms very easily. And by the way, guys, to learn these skills, where I recommend going, like if you want an Instagram course, for example, udemy.com, udemy.com, pretty much has a course on everything. It's a great place to start. But I will say nothing replaces experience. So one thing I always suggest to people who want to pursue something like social media management is to reach out in your warm market and make them an offer. Just say, hey, I'm learning how to use Instagram to grow a business. I'm looking to, just start getting my first clients. Would you be willing to, work with me? It's fine in the beginning if you work for even free. Think of it like almost like an internship, because the experience you're going to gain from that is going to be so valuable, right? And once you have that result, it's going to give you the confidence and the ability to raise your prices. Okay, so social media management is a really good one. Ease of learning, quite simple. There's really no techiness to it. All you really have to learn is how to use the specific platform. And they tend to be pretty user-friendly. And again, you can command really good hourly rates. And by the way, I'm getting these numbers off of Upwork, which is a freelancing website. So I didn't just pull these numbers out of my, but these are numbers that came from a platform, right? A freelancing platform where you can actually see what people make. And by the way, if you want to double check that, if you have skills outside of this that you're thinking about pursuing, if you go to Upwork, I'll just show you this real quick. So if you go to Upwork, you have to log in. If you haven't created an account, you're going to need to do that. But then what you can do is, and actually, let me do this in an incognito window. It'll work better. So Upwork.com. Just search for the skill. So I'll do copy. I'll search with copywriter. This is a great tool, though, just for getting a better understanding of the landscape and what people can charge. You can see what people are charging, right? So Natalia has earned $7K. She's currently charging $75 an hour. You've got a copywriter charging $40 an hour, $50 an hour, $35 an hour, $40 an hour. And if you actually, with copywriting in particular, if you go well down this list, you're going to find some people, especially those that have more experience, charging well into, the hundreds. But anyways, just a really quick, great way to get a better understanding of what skills are out there and what people are charging. Okay, where was I? Here we go. Email marketing and automation. This is a little more technical. This is all about setting up automations for businesses. So as an example, like when you go to most websites, there's an option for you to subscribe to their email list, right? And what happens is when you subscribe to that email list, an email is that triggers what's called an automation that automatically sends you an email welcoming you to their list or whatever as a subscriber, right? That's a very simple example of an automation. It's incredible, though, to what lengths and what extent you can actually implement automations. It's really, really powerful stuff. I'm not going to go into a ton of depth here, but if you're someone who is, technical, you have that leaning, right? Like I came from a technical background, so I was able to really, I actually think it's really interesting and fun to actually learn how to automate things for businesses. So you can, there's really no limit to what how deep you can get into this stuff. Okay. So email and marketing automation is really powerful. It's absolutely in demand. It's still fairly easy to learn. Like I said, if you go to Udemy and you buy a course, I'll give you an example of a tool. There's one called ActiveCampaign. It's called a marketing automation tool. It's a tool through which you set up all the different automations and email sequences, and all of that. You could go to Udemy or even just search in Google for ActiveCampaign course. ActiveCampaign themselves have a huge knowledge base. It's one of those things that you can learn very easily online, okay? And again, you can command really high hourly rates from it. Media buying, online advertising, PPC. This is basically online advertising, okay? So as an example, one platform you can advertise is Facebook. Facebook has an advertising platform. Google has an advertising platform. Microsoft has an advertising platform. YouTube has an advertising platform. Just like with social media, what I recommend is rather than trying to learn all of them, focus on one. I specialize in Facebook ads for my clients. And generally what happens is if a client, I'm working with a client, we're getting traction on Facebook and they're ready to test other platforms, I have a network of people I've partnered with who I can refer them to. But I specialize on Facebook. And the reason I do that is because there are definitely nuances to the different platforms. So I recommend rather than trying to learn them all, just pick one, become a master of it. Okay. And again, you can go to Udemy to learn these skills. Graphic design, I would say, is another one. This to me is a little less, it's not perceived to have quite the same value as the ones I've listed prior to this, simply because graphics, when it comes to making sales online, graphics can be helpful, but they're not essential. The copy generally tends to make more of a difference. The sales funnel, how well optimized the sales funnel is, how well optimized the actual social media and Facebook or whatever paid advertising platform is that you're using, how optimized those campaigns are, tend to move the needle more than graphics. That said, graphic design is still very important. And it's still a very highly in-demand skill. And so I still recommend it especially if you have an inclination to do graphic design. Like if you have some of this in your background, there's a lot of demand for that skill on these freelancing platforms. Ease of learning, I would say, is a little bit more challenging than some of these others because you do really need to learn, to, for example, be a video, to create awesome videos, to create awesome graphics. You need to learn these design tools pretty well, right? I would say so from an ease of learning and techiness standpoint, there's a little bit more to it. But like I said, if you have an inclination, there's a ton of opportunity out there with graphic design. The next one is chatbots. So chatbots, bots are becoming increasingly more important for businesses. The reason is these messenger platforms. One example of it is a tool called ManyChat. That's really a tool that helps you create bots for Facebook Messenger. What's happening is more and more people, more and more businesses are realizing that, hey, messaging is more personal. When someone opens Facebook and sees that they have a message, they actually open it. In contrast to email, where people tend to just ignore their emails these days, they always open their messages. And so businesses are recognizing it as a conversational platform where they can really engage their customers. So it's really powerful. As I said, one of the tools is called ManyChat. And again, you can learn the skill really easily online. ManyChat themselves have a free course. If you just go to ManyChat or you just type in ManyChat course, you can enroll in one of their free courses, or you can go to Udemy and learn the skill. It's another one that's really in demand, and you can demand a high hourly rate for. The eighth one here is SEO. Now, SEO is super powerful. The benefit of SEO, and when I refer to SEO and SEM, I'm talking about search engine optimization or search engine marketing. I essentially equate them. They're basically the same thing. The idea is that, businesses solve certain problems, right? So like, for example, if you're a dentist, you help people with their teeth. So every day people are going online searching for, how can I get my teeth fixed? Or how can I get a retainer? Or how can I whiten my teeth, right? So they go into Google and they search. SEO and SEM is all about getting your website to rank in the results when people search, right? I would call it a more technical skill. There's just a lot of layers to it. And the other thing again, this is another skill that I tend to just refer out with partners I have. I like advertising in funnels more because you can produce a result for your client a lot faster. With SEO and SEM, it's an organic process and it takes some time. So if a business hires you, they have to hire you really with the expectation that you're going to need to put in some work for some time before they're going to get a result. So I still think it's a great skill and it's highly in demand, but just keep that in mind. It can be a tougher sell simply because, you have to work, you have to put in quite a bit of effort, and it takes a while. Just by nature, SEO takes a while to get traction. You're not going to rank sites right away, right? You've got to basically be consistent with a specific set of actions, and then over time, you'll start to see your content ranking. But it's a great skill, and again, you can command high hourly rates for it. The last one is digital marketing strategy and project management. And when I first started on the platform, I was more focused on implementation, but as I've evolved, more and more businesses come to me now for strategy because they recognize that they have this breadth of experience. I personally love this one because I really love coaching. I love strategizing, and it's a way for me to command a high rate while actually not having to get into the weeds too much with tools or implementation. I can just focus on meeting them where they are and giving them sort of the next steps, right? And then helping them manage the process as they go forward with it. So I would say digital marketing strategy and project management is probably not, if you're new to digital marketing, it's not going to be where you start. I would say you qualify for that type of work after you've done some implementation of these other skills, because then at that point, you'll have the experience that will allow you to manage projects and offer strategic consulting. Okay. So now that you know what these skills are, and the next thing for you to do is really to pick one. And so to help you with this, as I said, I'm going to put this resource that I just went through in the description below. I'm also going to link to some other resources that can really help you. If you're starting to think, hey, I really want to pursue a freelancing career in digital marketing, but I don't know where to start, I'll have those resources in the description below. And make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll just continue to provide you training going forward. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.